It is January 2026. We are in the far north. We are looking at Greenland. Greenland is a very large island in the Arctic. Most of it is covered with ice. Not many people live there, and yet many powerful countries are watching it. At the same time, we are also in Washington, D.C. People are talking about a surprising idea. It is connected to former U.S. President Donald Trump. The simple question is this: why did Trump show strong interest in Greenland? And why did this topic suddenly return to the news? But this was only the beginning. For many people, Greenland feels far away. It feels quiet. It feels like a place for ice, fishing, and small towns. So when a U.S. president talks about the United States getting Greenland, people notice. Some people feel confused. Some people feel uncomfortable. Some people just ask, is that even possible? We need to be careful here. There are different ways to talk about this topic. Sometimes people say, buy Greenland. Sometimes people say, take over Greenland. Sometimes people talk about control. The words matter, and the details can be unclear in public messages. But one key point is clear. Greenland is not a U.S. territory. Greenland is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Greenland has its own local government, but Denmark is still important for foreign policy and defense. So when the U.S. talks about owning Greenland, Denmark and Greenland respond. And Denmark and Greenland have repeatedly said Greenland is not for sale. That is one reason the idea surprised people. It also surprised people because the United States and Denmark are allies. They work together in NATO. They cooperate on Arctic security. So people asked another simple question. If they are allies, why is this happening? To understand this, we need to go back. Greenland's political status. Greenland is connected to Denmark. Greenland is not an independent country, but it has a lot of self-rule. Greenland manages many local issues, but Denmark is still linked to defense and foreign affairs. This setup matters because it means Greenland cannot be sold like a normal product. It involves politics, it involves laws, and it involves the wishes of Greenland's people. So when the topic comes up, Greenland's leaders often say something like this: Greenland's future should be decided by Greenlanders. And Denmark's leaders often say something very direct: Greenland is not for sale. A longer U.S. history of interest. The United States has been interested in Greenland for a long time. This is not only about Trump. One well-known example is from 1946. In 1946, the United States offered Denmark $100 million in gold for Greenland. Denmark refused. That fact is important. It shows this idea did not start in 2019 or 2026. It has appeared before in different forms. The U.S. military presence. The United States has also had an important military role in Greenland. A key part of this story is an agreement from 1951. This agreement allowed a U.S. military presence in Greenland. It supported U.S. defense goals during the Cold War. It helped the U.S. build and operate major facilities in the far north. Today, one well-known site is Pituffik Space Base, formerly called Thule Air Base. It is a U.S. base in Greenland. It is connected to defense and early warning systems, and it still matters for security planning in the Arctic region. So even without owning Greenland, the United States already has a strong security link there. This is why some people ask, if the U.S. already has a base, why talk about owning the whole island? That question leads us to Trump's statements. The 2019 moment. In August 2019, Trump's interest in Greenland became a major public story. Reports said he was interested in buying it. Danish leaders rejected the idea. After Denmark's prime minister said Greenland was not for sale, Trump canceled a planned visit to Denmark. That 2019 moment is a key part of the story. It made many people aware of Greenland's strategic value, and it showed how quickly the issue could become political. The return of the issue in 2026 reporting. Now we move forward. In January 2026, news reports describe Trump again pushing a strong line on Greenland. Some reporting describes Trump using the phrase control and linking the issue to pressure on European countries, including talk of tariffs. It is important to say this clearly. Public reporting can change fast. Different reports may use different wording. Some details may be unclear from public information alone. But the overall theme is that Trump is again describing Greenland as central to U.S. security interests. So now we can ask the big question, why? Why would a U.S. leader focus on Greenland like this? To answer that, we need to look at several reasons people discuss. When people talk about Trump and Greenland, you usually hear a few main viewpoints. I will share them in a neutral way. I will not claim secret plans. I will not add hidden motives. I will only describe common public reasons people discuss. View 1. Security and geography. Greenland's location is important. It sits between North America and Europe. It is deep in the Arctic region. For military planners, geography matters. During the Cold War, the Arctic was a key route for possible missiles and aircraft. That history did not disappear. The U.S. still uses Greenland for defense systems and monitoring. This is connected to the U.S. base and the broader defense agreement framework. From this view, Greenland is not about tourism or beauty. It is about location. It is about distance. It is about early warning and strategic positioning. People who support this view often say, even if Greenland is peaceful today, the world can change quickly, and the Arctic can become more important in future conflicts. View 2. Competition in the Arctic. Another view focuses on global competition. Many countries pay more attention to the Arctic now. The Arctic has resources, the Arctic has strategic routes, and the Arctic is becoming easier to access as conditions change. This does not mean any one country will take the Arctic.
But it does mean more interest, more investment, more security planning. From this view, Trump's comments fit into a wider story, a story where big powers want influence in the Arctic region, and Greenland sits right in the middle of that story. Some recent reporting frames Trump's interest as tied to strategic competition and security concerns. View 3. Natural resources. Some people also talk about resources. Greenland is known to have valuable natural resources, but it is also hard to extract them. The climate is harsh, infrastructure is limited, projects can be expensive, and environmental concerns matter a lot. So this view is often debated. Some people say resources could be one reason for interest. Other people say the challenges are too great. In public discussion, resources often come up as a possible factor. View 4. Politics and negotiation style. Another view is about politics. Some people say Trump often uses strong language in negotiations. He sometimes makes big proposals. He sometimes applies pressure. He sometimes uses tariffs or threats of tariffs as leverage. In recent reporting, the Greenland issue is connected to talk of tariffs on European countries. From this view, the idea could be part of a wider pressure strategy. But we should be careful. We cannot know private motives. We can only say what is visible in public actions and statements. And we can say that the idea creates tension with allies. View 5. Denmark and Greenland's perspective. Now let's look at the other side. Denmark and Greenland have their own clear views. Greenland is home to a distinct society and culture. Greenland also has its own government. Many said that outside powers should respect Greenland's wishes. Denmark's leaders have strongly rejected the idea of selling Greenland. They have repeated that it is not for sale. From this view, the issue is not only security, it is also about sovereignty. It is about identity. It is about self-determination. In simple words, it is about the right of people to decide their own future. That is why Greenland's leaders speak so clearly when this topic returns. So why does this matter right now? Let's connect the dots. The Arctic feels less distant. For a long time, many people ignored the Arctic. They saw it as remote. But now, the Arctic is part of global planning. Security planners talk about it. Economists talk about it. Environmental experts talk about it. In that setting, Greenland becomes more visible. It is a huge landmass in a key location, and it has an existing U.S. security presence already. Alliances and trust. This issue also matters because it touches alliances. The U.S. and Denmark are allies. Allies usually solve problems through agreements, through shared planning, through diplomacy. When a leader talks about owning an ally's territory, that can create distrust. It can create political pressure inside Europe. It can also create debates inside the U.S. about what is realistic.
Some recent reporting describes European leaders pushing back strongly and presenting a united front. Greenland's own future. This also matters because Greenland's future is a real topic. Greenland has self-government. Greenland debates its long-term path. The Greenland economy, its relationship with Denmark, and its security environment all matter. When big countries talk loudly about Greenland, it can change local politics too. It can bring stress, it can bring attention, and it can raise questions about what Greenland wants next. The gap between talk and reality. There is another reason this topic matters. Sometimes political talk is bigger than practical reality. Buying territory is not common today. It is legally and politically complex. It would face strong resistance. So even if someone talks about owning Greenland, it does not mean it will happen. But the talk itself can still matter, because it affects relationships, it affects trust, and it affects how people see the future of the Arctic. However, the story does not end here. Now, let's talk about the future. We must be honest. A lot is unclear. Diplomacy changes fast. Statements change fast. But we can talk about a few realistic possibilities that people discuss. More cooperation, not ownership. One possibility is simple. The U.S. works even more closely with Denmark and Greenland on Arctic defense. This could mean more joint planning, more investment in security systems, or more support for existing facilities. The U.S. already has a base and a legal framework through agreements, So cooperation is possible without changing sovereignty. More political tension. Another possibility is tension. If leaders keep using strong language, allies may respond strongly. This could lead to arguments inside NATO. It could lead to economic pressure, like tariffs, if those threats continue. Some recent reporting focuses on tariffs and a stronger European response. More attention on Greenland's own voice. A third possibility is that Greenland's leaders push even harder to be heard. They may say again and again that Greenland is not for sale. They may also highlight local needs, jobs, infrastructure, environment, and local control. In many public discussions, Greenland's leaders want the world to understand one key point. Greenland is not empty space. People live there, and their choices matter. A calmer phase. There is also a calmer possibility. Sometimes a political storm passes. The headlines move on. Diplomats work quietly, and the issue becomes less intense. That can happen too. We cannot know which path will happen, but we can see why the topic returns again and again. Because the Arctic is changing, because the world is tense, and because geography does not change. Greenland will still be where it is, right between continents, right at the top of the world.